Hello, Internet. It's the Pennsylvania Hitman coming to you from the PaHitman studios in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I'm here to talk to you about how I got the name, the Pennsylvania Hitman. Alright, so this aspect of my life started in 1994 and ended somewhere around 2010. I was running the streets, selling drugs, getting into lots of fights, tons of fights, nothing but trouble. And I got this job working, and I was working with this guy. He was kind of a big burly dude. He didn't take no one's shit. I didn't take no one's shit, so I kind of think that's why we kind of hit it off. We just kind of just liked each other right from the go. So we started, BSing at work, and then went from BSing at work to hanging out. We were working out together, shooting the shit, whatever. And one day he's like, hey, you want to come hang out tonight? He's like, I got to sit outside this house down this street, and I got to watch this house. I got to see when this guy comes and goes and what he's doing. I was like, yeah, no problem, and he's like, it gets boring, sitting there for, a couple hours at a time with nothing to do. I said, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll keep you company, whatever. And you guys got to remember, this was a different time back then. Like there was, back then there was no smartphones. There's no Facebook. There's no games on your phone. None of that technology back then. So, sitting in a car for hours on end gets pretty boring. So we just shoot the shit. We'd hang out and we just watch this house, and he'd, keep track when this guy comes and goes. Every now and then we'd follow the dude or whatever and call it a day. So it's kind of like one of them things, not to ask any questions. You just know not to ask, why are we doing this? What's going on? You just know not to ask any questions. So then, as we're hanging out, we're getting to know each other, he kind of starts teaching me stuff. He talks about how everyone gets up at the same time. Everyone's on this routine. Everyone gets up at the same time. They get gas at the same they get gas at the same gas station. They get groceries at the same grocery store. You go to the same bars. Everyone is repetitive. Everyone's in a routine. Everyone pretty much does the same thing day in and day out. And if you want to find out and you want to do something to someone, you gotta figure out their routine. You gotta learn their routine. So you gotta study them. I was like, okay, I got you. And then, he's like, if you ever want information on somebody, I have a private detective friend that can, get into police records. He can tell you what kind of make, model, year, the vehicle the guy drives, what his address is. Any type of information that a private detective can get. This guy's a private detective. He can get that information if you ever want to know about someone. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't have any need for that stuff, so I was, that's cool, whatever. So as time goes by, we're hanging out, doing shit, whatever, and he's like, hey, you want to make some extra money? And I said, sure, absolutely. And he says, okay. He's like, this is what I'm going to do. He's like, I'll give you $50. I'm going to give you an address and a name. All I want you to do is go to this person's house late at night, pound on the door, and tell them they got to take care of this bad check they have at this convenience store and leave. And he said, the next day I'll give you $50. I was like, okay. I was like, that sounds easy enough. I was like, obviously this wasn't for a bad check. This check cashing convenience store he's talking about is known to have mob and mafia connections, and I'm sure this was a betting debt or maybe a street debt that this guy wasn't making his payments on, something like that. So, this guy owed some money to them, and he must not be paying it. So I'm just giving him a reminder. So I'm like, okay. I said, well, what if the dude comes to the door and he wants to fight? And my buddy laughs at me. He's like, well, he's like, you know how to handle yourself. You kick his ass. I was like, all right, well, what if he's got a gun or a knife or something like that? He's like, you just got to, that's a chance that you take. He's like, but I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. And he's like, they never even come to the door. This is exactly what'll happen. You knock on the door. They always send the wife or the girlfriend to the door, and they hide upstairs. The wife or girlfriend's going to come. You're going to ask for the dude. He's not going to be there. And then you just give him this speech of, I'm going to tell you what to say. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, all right. So what do you want me to do? So he said, I want you to go real late at night. He's talking about somewhere between 9 and 11 o'clock at night. He's like, pound on the door like you're the police. And he said, the girl come to the door. It'll be his girlfriend or his wife. Ask for whoever the guy is, and she's gonna say he's not there. And he said, I want you to dress in like dark blue jeans, a black hooded sweatshirt, wear a hat, whether it's a stocking cap or a ball cap. Put your hood over your head, and talk real aggressive and mean, like you're irritated. And I want you to say, look, he's got to go down to such and such convenience store and take care of this bad check, and he better do it fucking tomorrow. Don't make me come back. If he doesn't come there tomorrow, I'm going to come back and it is not going to be fucking good. Pound on the fucking door and just look real aggressive and just be like, look, the motherfucker better get down there and take care of this debt, or that's fucking it. He better take care of this bad check, or I'm going to come back and you do not want me coming back, blah, blah, blah. He's like, and then, and then she'll be like, okay, I'll have him head down there and leave. So I did that a bunch of times, and every single time it went exactly like he told me it was going to go. I'd go there, pound on the door. The girl comes to the door. He's not home. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll make sure he gets down there and takes care of it. And that's it. So then I'd go to work the next day. I'd go up to him. He'd like, did you take care of that? You go up there? Yeah, okay, yep. And he'd give me $50. Easy money. So more time goes by. I'm doing that all the time. I'm doing the other stuff I'm doing. And then, I'm getting in fights all the time. And he's like, man, he's like, you get in fights all the time. I said, yeah, I love to fight. He's like, well, wouldn't you like to make a little bit of money instead of beating people up for free all the time? I say, well, yeah. I said, what did you have in mind? And he's like, I can pay you anywhere from $200 to $800. And you just got to beat people up. So then it got into beating people up for money. And of course, the easier it would be the $200. If it got a little bit more complicated, I had to do more work, then it would be closer to the $800 range. So I got into beating people up for anywhere between $200 and $800. And then, of course, you do that so many times and you start, fucking telling stories and laughing to your friends. And, they hear this shit. They see you're doing some shit, and they kind of came up with this nickname. They're like, oh, you're the PaHitman, you're the Pennsylvania Hitman. And they start razzing me, and, every time they see me, like, oh, it's the PaHitman, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I got the name, the Pennsylvania Hitman. There you have it. Hope you enjoyed the story.